Today's adventure begins on a very overcast, somewhat dreary, cool, crisp, foggy San Francisco morning as the recording of this, August 5th, 2021. And there is some steam being emitted from the grates. Pulling into the station, the F Market Transportation Device 1072. I'm going to take this down to Pier 33. Love it. Look how retro this is. So cool. Is it stopping? Okay, yeah, it's stopping. Love it. Welcome, everyone. Is it beeping? TheDailyWoo here. Behind us is the sign for Pier 33 South. And what is above the Pier 33 sign South?
Alcatraz cruises.
We are going to Alcatraz Island, a place you've never been to. All the years you lived here, you were telling me you never did the cable cars, which we did the other day. You've never been to the island.
No. One of these I was like, oh yeah, one day, and then I guess today's the day.
This is the day. It is very windy. It's about 10:45. We have a boat ride over there slated for 11:30. I believe the two of us together came to about $98, so about $50 per person. Walk through self-guided tour of Alcatraz.
Yeah, I'm excited. Never been.
I'm excited for you. I'm inviting you to join me and Natalie.
Yay.
Shall you?
Shall you?
And out here in the elements is a scale model of the island. We're heading over. I almost tripped there for a minute. Yeah, they just had one here in the water, trying to go across. Oh look, see this is fake water, but there's real water congregated over there.
I wonder how many tried and failed trying to swim across.
We'll probably be able to learn when we go over there. There's going to be a lot of information on that stuff, so they'll probably let us know, or we can ask.
It's so much bigger than I thought. Like looking from it from across here doesn't look like it's like this many buildings.
Oh yeah,
massive.
we're going to get in our steps in across this island. Now boarding our time slot, even though it's 11, can get in line for the 11:30 departure. We just got to get in this queue. There are a couple boats that go across the bay, taking over to the island. This one is pulling in now, right on schedule. And once it docks, gonna walk down that little platform. And look at that little one going by. That little boat over there, heading across the bay.
When moving about the vessel, watch your step and tracks. It's so much more than just a prison. Food service is available only on the ferry.
Unused and vacant for nearly 6 years. So our Native American brothers and sisters said, hey, remember this treaty? You're supposed to return that land to us. Unfortunately, as many of you know, that didn't happen. So that's what started them coming out here to Alcatraz Island in 1969. And during that period of time, more than 15,000 people came through Alcatraz Island to show their support.
Here's a list of all the different birds that are on the island and how many nests there are in all of them. A lot of bird life.
If you walk in the room to the right, there's a hole in the corner.
Look at that.
I'm happy to help. Have a safe and enjoyable visit here today on Alcatraz Island in your national park.
All right, starting our self-guided tour with the guard tower here. Well, no, this isn't a guard. Well, I guess it would be a guard tower. It looks kind of like a lighthouse. Maybe it's both. This truck was restored recently. It used to be used here on the island. I was reading a newspaper article on the side of the window there talking about how it was restored. This was used back in the day. There are some areas that are closed off to anyone walking around. This would have been the social hall here. Off in the distance, that little tower over there as well. This is right here on the waterfront. Here's a photograph of it before it burned in 1970, built in 1910. And this is kind of the intersections of it now with lots of seagulls down in there. No parties happening for the officers at this moment. Just the gulls. The Quartermaster warehouse and power plant is the building that has the name across the top. We get to a different area, be able to see it, but it's written right up on top of this very roof, right up here. I'm noticing there's a lot of flies and insects up here. One was just crawling on my hand. I wonder if you could peek in this little window over here. Yeah, I can get a little look down in here, a little peek. Quite the ambiance with all the bird noises. A little layout of the land where the ferry unloaded was right here. Walked up and went up this platform, saw the truck inside this building, past the officers club, and where the name is written on the roof is right there. And now up here in the new industries building, after that, going to traverse the rest of all the cells, Eagle Plaza, the lighthouse, the West Road, Windy Gulch Trail, and other areas. Some of the well-known and famous names here, of course, Robert Stroud, the Birdman, Mickey Cohen, and these three escaped back in 1962. A couple other names, of course, Capone, George Kelly. And this was their daily routine, starting at 6:30 with a morning wake-up bell. And then lights out was at 9:30 p.m. Lunch was at 11:40. Supper, also known as dinner, 4:25. They returned to the cells 20 minutes later, only 20 minutes for dinner. Final lockup at 4:50. Wow, so they have to be back in the cells at 4:50. And they do the counts and then lights out at 9:30. These are some photos of the building standing inside of what it looked like back in the day. It's kind of like a wood shop type of place here. Let's see what it looks like now. It was also used for laundry. It says here that someone tried to escape from this section as well. You see some of the laundry facilities there against these windows right over here. And after exiting that facility, walking up, and you could see what I was referring to with the lettering across the roof there. This tower, which is pictured right up there, I believe, looking at that building, is the building that is right up there. It would have been on that very corner. And the tower kind of just sits here, perched along the ground. Speaking of perched, there's a seagull right on the top of it. Just relaxing. Its own personal little guard tower. And looking at the little placard over on the side of this, for a short while it was a gymnasium room.
You're in California, I don't think being in America counts.
Huh. Some of the guards and their families, their entire families, not just them per se, their whole families lived right over in here. There's a greenhouse here. Oh, looks like there's solar power here as well, underneath the water tower.
This was their hospital building here. And that stood right here against this wall, right behind.
Okay.
And they also, the Army built the prison building, 1909 to 1910. And what they did is they included a hospital wing inside the building. So this was no longer relevant. They really didn't need it anymore. So it stayed here as storage. Late 1920s, they decided to make this a garden center in here. They tore this down and built a gigantic greenhouse. You can see the concrete strip out there? Yeah. That's how big their garden greenhouse is. By the time we got here, though, it was in dilapidated, falling down. So as a national park, we have to stay within historic guidelines. So we built a replica greenhouse sitting inside the foundation structure.
Yeah, not a bad view from over here. Looking at the Bay Bridge that way. Very slight incline downward this walkway. Very windy out here.
We got it on video. We got a video. I don't want video.
This was the Warden's house, the executive mansion. Pictured here during Christmas in 48, between 48 and 55. This also was destroyed by fire. Right here, really good view.
Wait, that's when you get take a break.
This is circa 1952. It is a 1/32 scale model. And all this down here is all abandoned now and all bulldozed. This is where all those birds are like kind of have taken over. And the little spot I was standing at the top was right up here next to the White House, with a view of the city from in here as well. See the flag up there, just how windy it is out there. It is very gusty and very windy. Nice cool breeze. A few items in here, throwbacks if you will. Telephones over there on the wall, very retro, dating back to the time period. Now stepping into the cell house, into where the cells are. All right, first level through here. Not allowed to go down the staircase, but take a look at that. No telling what lies down in the basement there. Ah, this shows what's at the bottom of the stairs. The enclosures were known as the dungeons. They were placed in a damp, dark room on a bread and water diet for up to 14 days. The space contained no bed or toilet. There is an audio tour. I have opted to have the audio tour here, so I'll put my ear up to it, try to get a little bit of information. I did notice, I also looked this up beforehand, but 181 right up there was Capone's cell, his second cell, the one he spent the most time in, and it's the only one, it's kind of stanchioned off, you can't get over to it. Yeah, Al Capone. Maybe probably the most famous inmate ever here, maybe the most famous inmate anywhere would be Capone. Chicago's Capone. $181. Basically what is being said through the narration, they do have some inmates and they have some of the guards narrating. First thing they're stating is that you didn't really go by your name here, you went by your number. So whatever your number was is what you were referred to, and that became pretty much who you were. Not your cell number, but your inmate number. It was a 9 feet long, 5 feet wide, 7 feet tall. That was the accommodations. And when they arrived, they would have a little booklet here that had the instructions on what they were to do and what everything in their cell was. It was located right here next to the side of it. You can see there are 2 displays here of what their setup was. So all their rules were listed right there in that book. Now this clock states Times Square. Yeah, Times Square. So you go down Broadway, you end at Times Square. Take a look at that, Broadway to Times Square. Down here is going to be a photograph of the recreation yard. Looks like a baseball field down here. Sure is, look, it's a baseball diamond. Ah, there it is out there. That's the recreation yard, right there along the back side of this wall. This is the D block. A little more of the stricter areas. Those that stayed in here stayed pretty much in their cells all the time. Just learned that they were only allowed out about once a week. So they spent a lot of time behind those bars. A lot of notable men were here. Wow, all here in this area. Right along. Look at this. Mickey Cohen. Robert Stroud, the famous Birdman of Alcatraz. Creepy Carpus. Arthur Barker. George Kelly was in here. And for a short while, even Capone was over in this area as well. Robert Stroud was up in here. He wasn't allowed to bring his birds with him, which made him very unpleasant to those that were watching over him. Many years he was in here. The famous Birdman of Alcatraz. There was a movie starring Burt Lancaster made about him. I believe it was Burt Lancaster that played him. This was also the area where the isolation was. the D block, the treatment unit. They did receive enough food and health care, but they were confined to their cells 24 hours a day. This was not solitary. This was the regular cell. Wish I knew which one was Robert Stroud's. That would be neat to see. Wow. Looks like there was a toilet over there though, so they did have a place to use the bathroom. Got very dark in here though when they closed the door. This door here would have been closed. Right there. Look at that. And if you think about it, if you had one of the second or third floor cells, the only view you would have for years and years would be out these other barred windows looking across. And this was the library. Really about the only thing you could do in here would be to visit the library and get a book. I feel like that's what you would do.
It would be.
If you
It would be prison for me. It'd be a normal day.
It'd be a normal day because you read a lot. I could definitely see you. You would be frequenting the library quite a bit.
Yeah. They said they read like 75 to 100 books a year. That sounds about right.
They would read 75 books a year. How many do you read a year on average?
About like 30.
30?
30 to 40.
So you're about halfway there. Oh, by the way, show your shirt. You have, you're wearing kind of an appropriate shirt
Yeah.
as well.
She might be going to prison for 20 years, but let's hope not.
Okay. So you're wearing an appropriate t-shirt, even though she can't go to Alcatraz, if so. Now, some of the ones that stayed here they went on record to say this area was one of the most comfortable places to stay. You can even see, check it out, they have a little checkerboard down in there. There's a little checkers box up top. Some would even do a little painting, have we got some little paints up top there. We got the horse, little mountain range. Up top, a cabin. Really you'd have a lot of time to work on your hobbies.
Reminds me of like Hannibal Lecter's salad.
Oh, kind of like,
Drawings and everything.
yeah, kind of, yeah. Of course, I'm getting like a Shawshank vibe as well, obviously. You know, one of my favorite movies regarding, you know, a prison, if you will. Did you ever see Shawshank? Of course, yeah.
Red was here.
Red was here, yeah. I wonder where Red's would have signed in there. Of course, Red was not here. Red was somewhere else, but Red, that movie kind of reminds me a lot. I have never been in jail or prison, but I have visited quite a few. Would be something else. In case you were wondering what the view would be like, let's say you were in one of the cells right up here.
Yeah.
What do you think is out that window that you would have to be tempted by on a daily basis?
View of the city?
A view of the city. Right over there. Look at that. Across the way. Very dirty windows. There's a seagull down there. But in listening to the commentary on the guided tour, sometimes on New Year's they could see the fireworks, and they could even hear the cheers and excitement from across the bay, faintly, while they were in the cells.
Wow.
That would be tough.
Yeah.
They have their own little New Year's party.
I wonder if they like bang on their cells when it's like midnight.
They could have, yeah. The visitation area is what the prisoners called peek in place. Because they would peek through here to the other place when their family or friends would go to visit. You can see through here. There are 4 different little holes that you would look through.
The glasses, it's crazy.
Oh yeah, that is. It is like, oh yeah, that's almost like you'd see like a Shark Tank glass almost, where it keeps the water on the other side. That's how thick it is.
Yeah.
Someone's tried to chip it away.
I'd visit you.
You'd come visit me if I was in here?
Yeah, I'd visit you.
So you'd be on the other side. So I'd be here. If I ended up in Alcatraz, you'd be on the other side. Right behind there. Would you try to give me what are the little blades they give you to try to what do they call those?
I'd bake you a cake and put it
Oh.
inside.
A file.
Yeah.
Be a file inside.
You'd try to escape.
Good idea. Okay, when I end up in Alcatraz,
I got you.
here at cell 138, very interesting story. There was a fake head created to fool the guards, and a escape was attempted right here. They did not realize until they realized the head detached from the rest of the fake torso. They have recreated it here just to kind of document that it happened in 138. That's one way to do it. Kind of fool everyone with a fake noggin down there. Kind of looks like Sad-Eye Joe a little bit. Or knots. Maybe that's
You can bring him the head and help him escape.
that's what I should let Sad-Eye Joe. I'm gonna go back to knots. I'm gonna pass the word on to Sad-Eye Joe.
I have a new idea for him to escape.
Tell him I learned something at Alcatraz. He'll love it.
He will. I think he'd appreciate it.
Ah, here we go. Here's a little more info. It was on June 11th, 1962. Frank Morris and brothers John and Clarence Anglin made a creative escape attempt, the most creative in the history of this place. And here they are. The 3 men had reached the bay as they slipped into the water using a raft fashioned out of a raincoat. They met an icy current rapidly, ebbing out to sea. They were never seen again. No one knows what happened to them. This was their escape route, climbing up the pole, up the utility pole, up onto the roof, and then dropped down to the ground. They then climbed a fence, passed under the guard tower, tumbled down a rocky cliff, and scrambled to shore. But there's the fake head. No one knows if they perished, survived. Also represented are the 2 others. There's another fake head down in there. Reading this, it says these props were used on the TV show America's Most Wanted, The Escape, the story of the 62 breakout. So you can see all those in that episode. This is looking in a piece of plexiglass into the utility corridors, which is the area that they used to get out. And now heading back down Broadway. Was here a moment ago and went inside the cell over here. You want to get inside the cell? Get it. How's it feel? Teeny and tiny. Thankfully, you only have to be in there for a few moments.
Yeah.
But that would be your accommodations right there. This doesn't even have a bed. Making my way back down to Times Square. Broadway to Times Square. Going into the dining hall now. Almost at the end of the tour. You see they're cleaning up the headsets. Still listening to this as I'm walking. Very informative. Okay, they were saying that this is the most one of the most potentially dangerous rooms anywhere in the cell house, simply because of the eating utensils. And you can see the recreation outdoor area where they were allotted 3 hours a day. They were saying as cold as it would get out there across the bay, they would always stay out there as long as they could because they did not want to go back to their cells. And there is the Golden Gate Bridge across the way there. Very dirty windows from all the birds that are flying around out there. These are your menu options. You want to flip through the book there and take a look at what you would have if you were incarcerated here. You have a choice of peanut soup. Anything on there strike your fancy?
Cranberry jelly.
Cranberry jelly sounds good. That's the main course. What about for a starter and what about for dessert?
Grape avocado salad and pumpkin pie.
Nice. Does it say on the front what time and for, oh, it doesn't say, oh, over here. Oh, look at the food menus listed on the next 2 pages. Both menus are from Thanksgiving Day from 44 to 46. Only one is a food served here at Alcatraz. But is that open at all? Is there? What is this? Oh, maybe it was this one. Okay, you know what? This is supposed to be a test. You got menu 1 and menu 2. Which one do you think is from Alcatraz?
That one. I don't think they had cheese sticks back then.
Okay, no cheese stick. Let's look and see. If you chose menu 1, you are correct. That was what was served here on Thanksgiving Day of 46. So no cheese sticks. This was the one you were picking from.
Yeah.
So you would be disappointed because you would only get something on here. I would probably get butter peas or maybe a hot biscuit roast turkey with celery dressing and a pumpkin pie. All created right back in here, all cooked back in this area. What were you saying about up here?
It's something from 1963. I'm sure it's
Oh, that's the menu. So if you were here on March 21st of 63, you get assorted dried cereals, steamed wheat, scrambled eggs, fresh milk, some stewed fruit. Oh, they have coffee.
coffee.
You know, I would be fine. I could last here.
Coffee and books, I'm good.
That's all you need. That's all you need. It says here the food was some of the best in the system. They ate the same meals. Okay. Since the inmates had access to metal knives, forks, and spoons, as I said, this was the most dangerous. Patrolling guards had canisters mounted to the ceiling. Okay, thank you. Thank you. And it officially closed on March 21st of 1963. Frank Weatherman was the last to leave. Walk on Broadway. Look at that. 63. That has been 58 years ago. Wow. Now this is a good souvenir and very realistic to the area. It's a fog globe. Because it's very foggy here.
And the fog has a name.
Does it?
Yeah, the fog's name is Carl. No.
Really?
Mm-hmm.
The fog, why is it Carl?
I'm not sure why. I'm sure there's a reason, but...
So this morning, this is kind of how the city looked. And now that a little bit later in the day, it looks kind of like that. But later on this evening, it will look like this again. So it's pretty much like fog in the morning, fog at night.
Some sun in the middle.
A little bit of sun in the middle. That's kind of neat. That's a neat little souvenir. Oh, look, you can save the rock. You can buy part of the rock. Got a key here. That's neat. How much is that? $11.95.
It's really heavy.
It is. Nice little souvenir. They could have, back in the day, they could have probably used that to escape.
To them, it would have been priceless.
The yard privileges are as follows. No gambling, but you may play chess, checkers, or backgammon, games of hearts, cribbage, and dominoes. Oh!
You need these.
You think I need those?
Yeah.
Turn it back around so I can see the There you go. How much are those? I might get those.
They're very much your style.
Yeah, I get them. Unless they're like $90 and I'll put them back.
They are, oh,
$7.
Too shabby.
Oh, is there a trolley car?
Oh,
Or a cable car?
Yeah, it's the Powell and Hyde Street one.
Ended up getting a few items here, a couple little small bags full of stuff. I'll show you the haul momentarily. But going out through the gift shop, you go through one of the cells. Just like this. And I did end up getting that tin cup there, so I got that. And they also have a date stamp postcard that they'll sell you for $1, and they will put the lighthouse on there and the date as recording of this, August 5th, 2021. Spent time on Alcatraz, it's upside down. Got the sunglasses. I went with 3 magnets. I got the cable car, got the regulation number 23. I went with the classic, and I went with the pin as well. Pretty neat, the postcard though. Got a little something for posterity. What'd you get?
I got a badge for a friend, and then I got the same cable car magnet, so we're magnet buddies again.
Oh, nice. And so I got that one, so we're cable car buddies.
Cable car buddies.
But also, you got something I did not get, which is the Golden Gate Bridge. Pretty cool. It's pretty cool too, right? Did you get one of these?
No.
Dang, you opted out of this?
Yeah.
And it looks like we might time it out perfect. There is a boat dropping off some guests over here. If we get down there, we could hit that one on the way back over to the mainland. Perfect timing. Made it. The loading back onto this boat has begun. I believe it is a different seafaring vessel than the one that we took over. This is only 2 stories. The one on the way over was 3. Different boat.
It all comes together.
Got an entire rooftop view from this angle.
Ladies and gentlemen,
Oh, pulling
may I
away.
have your attention, please?
Yes.
Alcatraz Cruises vessels sail under rules and regulations.
Heading back over to the city, San Francisco.
Our trained crew
Right
members
across
will
the way
assist
there.
you with our
Very,
life
very
saving
beautiful.
equipment. When moving about the vessel, watch your step and hold on to a handrail.
Boy, this thing is bouncing, isn't it? Whoo, you can look at it. I'm kind of stabilized over there on at the Golden Gate. You can see the winds blowing across here. Oh, whoa, it's hard to. Ooh. Gonna get my sea legs.
Watch your step and use those railings as you make your way up that ramp. Please keep those masks on for us while on board. We appreciate you doing that. We hope you enjoyed your time on Alcatraz Island. Have a great day here in San Francisco.
And that's going to do it for today from Alcatraz Island. See you in the next video. The vlog is over.